Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bristol, Tennessee for some dirt street stock action on Bristol dirt here tonight. And up first in heat number one, we've got a 4-car heat here. 8 laps to settle this thing and see who starts up front in the big feature. Up front tonight will be Bradley Berry and Austin Green, followed by Derek Rigel and Scott Whiteman. As they complete their final pace laps, and the Bandit is on track. Bradley Berry driving the Smokey and the Bandit car. So huge shout out to him. We will have 2 8-lap heats and a 65-lap feature from Bristol. This is going to be exciting, folks. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. Off into turn 1, and you can see one of the cars really high on the track. That is Derek Rigel. Looks like he might have caught a piece of the wall there, but he carried the momentum. Scott Whiteman going backwards, at least at the moment. He manages to hold on to third, but sliding around quite a bit. Meanwhile, up front, the Bandit, Bradley Berry, is starting to pull away. Already 3/4 of a second lead in just a couple of laps. Now, these cars not easy to drive here, as you saw Whiteman wiggling up off the turns there. Despite the fact that they have the lower speed, they are technically more difficult to drive, and it does make things extremely interesting going around this track. We won't see the track slick off or become a concern, at least in the heats, but you can bet during that long feature we are definitely going to see a slicked off track. 5 laps to go for these guys. Bradley Berry continues to extend his lead to almost a second. Austin Green in second place, and Derek Rigel and Scott Whiteman battling it out side by side. Scott to the bottom, Derek to the top. And you see Scott struggling to get the power down up off that turn. Just cannot get that car going, and definitely a little bit of a struggle there. Gets another wiggle up off the turn, but it looks like he's slowly making a little bit of headway. Oh, and Derek Rigel gets the wall out of turn 4. He is going to lose third place, and he's going to have to fight his way back up. Meanwhile, up front, Austin Green has started closing the gap on Bradley Berry down to just 3/4 of a second, but now it's shrinking a little bit more. But will he have enough time with just 2 laps to go? Scott Whiteman still in third, but Derek Rigel, despite the incident coming out of turn 4 a couple laps ago, he is hammered down all the way around this track trying to regain that third position. Bradley Berry takes the white flag in heat number 1. And Austin Green has just half a lap. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to pull it off. It's going to be Bradley Berry will take the win in heat number 1. Austin Green will come home second. Scott Whiteman pulls off the third. Derek Rigel pulls off a 4th place finish on to heat number 2. Heat number 2 about to get started. Kevin Barnes, Dean Quayle up front, followed by Gerald Poole, Andrew Cowart. Pace car is in. Green flag back in the air. Off into 1 and 2 they go, and Kevin Barnes definitely sliding it through, but a little bit of activity back there as we've got drivers really starting to move around. That's the 17 of Dean Quayle up on the high side, picking up some ground. Gerald Thanos Poole right below him. And Dean gets past Gerald, and Andrew Cowart now sets his sights on Thanos. But right now, Kevin Barnes up front has not had a huge breakaway, and it looks like Dean Quayle might actually be running him down. Gerald Poole trying to hold on to third place, but Andrew Cowart just right there on the back bumper. And Andrew gets a nose underneath of him down the back straightaway. Gerald up on the high line will have a little bit more momentum, but it looks like not going to bother Andrew as they go side by side at the line, down through 1 and 2 again. Andrew Cowart's got the nose to the inside, just can't make anything happen. And while they're doing that, they're actually closing up on Dean Quayle. Now they're right back to the back bumper of Dean Quayle. Dean goes way high in the turn. Gerald Poole slips by. Andrew Cowart now sets his sights on him, and Kevin Barnes is loving this. He has a 9/10 of a second lead right now. While these guys are back here battling, he'll be able to run away a little bit. With 3 laps to go, these guys are going to have to get up there and do something with him quickly. Kevin Barnes has extended his lead to over 1 second now. Gerald Poole in second, Dean Quayle in third, but Andrew Cowart just right there with him. 2 laps to go. And something happened to Kevin Barnes bleaked briefly. We'll have to see if that impacts his results here. Nope, he gets the white flag. He has the lead by over a second now. Gerald Poole in second, Dean Quayle in third, Andrew Cowart on the bottom looking for fourth. And as they come out of turn 4, it will be Kevin Barnes for the win in heat number 2. Gerald Thanos Poole comes home second, Dean Quayle is third, Andrew Cowart comes home fourth. On to the feature. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. Heats are over, warm-up is over. It's all down to this. 65 laps around Dirt Bristol. This will be exciting. Up front will be Bradley Berry and Kevin Barnes. In the second row will be Austin Green and Gerald Poole. Scott Whiteman and Dean Quayle bringing up the third row. Derek Rigel, Andrew Cowart on the fourth row. John Schwartz is ninth, and Chris Pierce did not grid, so he was scheduled to start 10th. He is not going to be starting the event, just so you know when you see his name come across. Pace car is in. Green flag in the air. Here they go. Side by side off to turn 1, and it looks like there might have been a little bumping on that inside line. Looks like a couple of cars got a better start, and the leaders weren't moving quickly enough. I'd imagine we'll see a little bit of door banging and using that chrome horn before it's all said and done. It's Bristol, baby. Lap number 2, everybody side by side, except for the front 2, as Kevin Barnes has started opening up a bit of a lead. Third, though, Austin Green and Gerald Poole. There's your door banging already. Only lap 3. Those two are leaning on each other through 3 and 4. And we've got one up in the wall. That was a 17 of Dean Quayle, but we saw him do this in the heats. He gets all the way up there by the wall, even gives it a little bit of a love tap, but he keeps it going. And we saw Scott Whiteman in the heat struggle to get around a couple of guys. Just couldn't get the momentum. Well, he found it. He found all the momentum. He's already up to 4th place after starting back in 6th. But Bradley Berry started 7th and is now up to 2nd. These guys are really making their way forward. A couple of guys really got a good handle on the car here tonight. After 5 laps, it is still Kevin Barnes at the lead. All right, as we start lap 13, Scott Whiteman really started coming on a few laps ago, and he is gaining on Gerald Thanos Poole. He's made a couple of dives down to the inside so far, hasn't been able to get anything working yet, but now he is looking to the outside, trying to get a run here. Meanwhile, the battle between Dean Quayle, Andrew Court, and Derek Rigel and Austin Green has spread out a little bit. Most of the field now single file except for this battle for third. Scott Wyman keeps getting the nose underneath. He keeps getting a run right to the back of Thanos. Just can't do anything with him yet. Hasn't been able to find enough momentum to get around and get him cleared. Kevin Barnes, meanwhile, has found some momentum. He's maintaining a 1 second lead over Bradley Berry. As we mentioned, the battle for third, and now the battle for fifth is heating up as Dean Quayle and Andrew Cowart battling it out for that position. Dean has a little bit of a problem there. Cowart's got a run on the high side. Dean gets way too low in the corner, loses the back end, and Andrew Cowart will take fifth spot. And here comes Dean Quayle back into the picture. Dean Quayle gets into the turn. Derek Rigel gets into the turn a little too high and loses some momentum, but he is still in this three-car battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Back up in front of him, though, Gerald Poole, Scott Whiteman, still just nose to tail. Scott looking for anything, any momentum here he can get to get up around him. Further back, Austin Green, John Schumont are both off the back of the field, just hoping for a caution and an opportunity to catch up. Meanwhile, Scott Whiteman looking to the high side again. He had the nose just outside of Gerald's car for a moment. Couldn't make anything happen yet, but he's going to continue to work on that 3-car here. Right back to the back bumper as they cross the start-finish line. He sends it high into 1 and 2. Still not enough momentum. He stays right with him, but just can't do anything. Meanwhile, Andrew Cowart is starting to run these two down. He has broken away from Dean Quayle and Derek Rigel and is now starting to close back in on Scott and Gerald. While they continue to battle, Bradley Berry up in second is starting to move away from them, and Kevin Barnes, he gains a little bit every lap, but he is definitely not pushing that car as hard as he can. He is just coasting. And let's take a ride around with Scott Whiteman as he looks to the outside of Thanos again. And here is what we want to show you. The inside of that track is starting to slick off. Even after just 22 laps, the track is already starting to slick off down on the bottom, and everybody's lines are moving up. That's going to take away passing opportunities for a lot of these guys. It's going to get really interesting as the race goes on. As the drivers come around to start lap number 30, almost halfway through this race, and the battle between Gerald Poole and Scott Whiteman continues, but interesting note is that Scott Whiteman has found a way to run through that slick and be faster. He lost a little ground when he was trying to get the handle on it, but he can drive through that slick and maintain speed, and once he makes up the difference on the time he lost, he'll be catching back up quickly. Also to note, Bradley Berry has now closed right back up to the back bumper of Kevin Barnes here. So we might just have a battle for the lead here in just a moment. We might have it right now as Bradley Berry looking to the high side in the turn. Can't get the moment. No, he does get a bit of a run off. Looked like he bobbled mid-corner, but he is making it work. Back up to the high side. Kevin Barnes still working that low side, driving through the slick, but here comes Bradley Berry to the lead for the first time tonight. On lap 33, just past the halfway point, Bradley Berry takes the lead. Back behind him, Gerald Poole and Scott Whiteman gain a little bit of ground, but they are still 2.5 seconds back. And Andrew Cowart has gained no ground. He is kind of stabilized at about 1.6 seconds from Gerald and Scott. Dean Quayle losing a little bit of ground to Andrew Cowart. Derek losing a little bit of ground as well. And Austin Green has actually started gaining. Since the track slicked off, he has started closing in on Derek Rigel. His lap times are some of the fastest out there right now. really impressive. He struggled early on the fresh track, but it looks like this man likes the track slicked off because he is coming forward. Will he have enough laps with 30 laps to go? Does he have enough to get up there and run down the top two? And coming down to 20 laps to go, Bradley Berry has started to open up a significant lead. 1.5 seconds over Kevin Barnes. Gerald Poole back in third. Still has his hands full with Scott Whiteman. Is now Scott starting to look down to the inside through 1 and 2. Just loses a little bit of momentum coming off the turn, but he's going to continue to work on him through 3 and 4. And he drifts up and gets a little tap on Thanos' front end, but manages to save it. Both drivers keep going. Move Scott Whiteman to third. Gerald Poole dropping back to fourth. But here is the interesting note. We mentioned that Austin Green was starting to pick up momentum as the track slicked off. He was running some of the fastest laps out there. He continues to be the fastest one on this slicked off track, and in some cases by 1 to 5 tenths faster than everybody else on track. He has already gotten past Derek Rigel. He is just over 2 seconds back from Dean Quayle. It'll be interesting to see with 17 laps to go, can he get, how many more positions can he get? Right now, he is averaging 1/10 of a second faster than Dean, so he might be able to at least pick up that 6th place spot. Andrew Cowart has gained a little bit of ground on Gerald Poole now. That he was about 1.5 seconds back last time we looked. He is now currently about 1.25 seconds, closing just a little bit at a time. And Scott Whiteman cannot get away from Gerald Poole. Gerald's still right there on the back bumper. As they get 15 laps to go, this battle continues. Kevin Barnes, meanwhile, looked like he had some problems coming through 1 and 2 that time, but managing to hold on to it. He was way down on the apron, but he lost even more time as Bradley Berry now has a 1.9 second and increasing lead. This battle for third is turning out to be something amazing, though. These two just continue going back and forth. Scott Whiteman looked like he had the speed earlier, but once he got around Gerald, he just can't drive away from him. Andrew Cowart, however, has closed that gap down. It is less than a second now. He is in 5th, looking for 4th place. And Austin Green has closed the gap to Dean Quayle down to 1.3 seconds. He is gaining as much as 0.5 second a lap on Dean right now. Dean Quayle still trying to maintain 6th place. He's got Austin Green closing on him now within a second with 11 laps to go. Gerald Poole still right there with him. Scott Whiteman still maintaining 3rd, but now they have Andrew Cowart, who has closed down a 1.5 second lead down to their back bumpers now. And with 10 laps to go, he definitely has enough time as Gerald Poole makes a move to the high side. Gerald Poole looking on the outside, trying to take 3rd place back. Gets off the corner, has some momentum. Whiteman stays low, gives him enough room to run the momentum out. Scott Whiteman drifts up in the middle of the corner. Lost the back end briefly, and everybody has to check up. Gerald had to check up. Andrew Cowart has to check up. A very close call there as Scott Whiteman, you can tell he is pushing that car to its limit with 8 laps to go. Bradley Berry still way out front. Now a 1.7 second lead. Kevin Barnes picking up a little bit of momentum here. Will it be enough? This battle for third, though, 3-car battle. still going on. Dean Quayle now has only half a second back to Austin Green. Austin has closed down a huge gap. I think if he hadn't had problems earlier in the race, Austin Green would be up there running up in the lead. He is just that much faster than everybody else so far. Scott Whiteman, 6 laps to go, still holding on to third place. Gerald Poole still there. Andrew Cowart still there. Kevin Barnes trying to close that gap down. Now down to 1.3 seconds to leader Bradley Berry, but with only 5 laps to go. Will he have enough time? Austin Green still right there, just lurking right behind Dean. Little wiggle off the turn there. Lost a little bit of momentum. And Gerald Poole all over the back bumper of Scott Whiteman. And it might have been a little tap there as Gerald gets a little loose, pushing it off the corner. Andrew Cowart looks to the high side. Gerald is completely sideways. He is just trying to push that car for all it's worth. Scott Whiteman right in front of him, just trying to maintain that third place spot. Cowart in the wall, gets into the back bumper of Poole. Gerald Poole still up on the high side. Cowart trying to look to the bottom here. Poole looking to the outside of Whiteman with 2 laps to go. Oh, Whiteman loses it in the turn. Gerald gets in the back bumper. Whiteman still holding on to it. He is down on the bottom, sending it through 3 and 4. They are coming to the white flag. And Andrew Cowart trying to go straight up the middle here. White flag is in the air. You can see they're all going for everything they're worth. Poole gets into Whiteman. Cowart gets into Poole. Whiteman still holding the bottom and coming out of turn 4. Who's it going to be at the line? It's Gerald Poole at the line, and the times are identical at the line. Bradley Berry brings home the win in spectacular fashion, taking the lead right at the halfway point and walking away. Bradley Berry wins. Kevin Barnes comes home second. Gerald Thanos Poole is third. Scott Whiteman fourth. Barely. Andrew Cowart fifth. Still right in that mix. Dean Quayle comes home sixth. Manages to hold off a hard charging Austin Green in 7th. Derek Rigel comes home 8th. John Schumats comes home 9th. And Chris Pierce does not race. He ends up scoring in 10th place. Congratulations to Bradley Berry. What a phenomenal race here tonight from Bristol Dirt.